Well, shalom, everybody. Ariel Tzadok here from the KosherTorah School, found online, or else KosherTorah.com. Well, we are in our second class of our Tikunei Zohar, Tikun 67. For tonight, it is the 4th of September. It's a Wednesday night here. We're in our kitchen. So that's why blank walls. We just moved in. We haven't even been here a week yet. And echo, echo, echo. Big old kitchen here. That's all right. We still have to get the cupboard in behind us here. Everything else. My office, it's very, very small. And it just gets the sun. And it's like really hot in the office. And Baruch Hashem, Tex is back with us. So he's hanging out in the office. And that's it. So Baruch Hashem, Tex is fine. We were separated for a while, but thank God he's well. He's back with us and adjusting to his new home. Remember, Tex has always been a mountain dog, even though he's originally from California. He was by some dear friends of ours. Again, we thank very, very much for taking care of him, and of course our Sierra. And Texie's now back here. So much for that. And I know many of you know Texie, been with us for many, many years. And yeah. All righty. So class already gone to the dogs. What can I say? But okay, to get serious now. As I introduced to you in our last class, Tikunei Zohar is traditionally studied during this time period in the month of Elul. So I wanted to do our public classes. We haven't had public classes in just such a long time. In all due respect, Pennsylvania is a lovely, lovely place. Allentown is a very nice place. Sons of Israel Shul is a great shul, but it just wasn't our place. Rabbanit Elisheva and I, we were looking around. We were toying with the idea of staying with Pennsylvania. She came down to my office once and says, no, we're going to Knoxville. So here we are. So Baruch Hashem. Yeah, thank her for that. But anyway, yeah, she's sitting right here off camera. And one of these days, I'm going to drag her on camera. We're going to do some learning together. She's shaking her head down. I'm going to share with you now. I'll embarrass her, but I don't care. As you know, the Rabbanit is from Paris, and her English is meticulously fluent. Her English is a lot better than many of ours, but she still doesn't feel, totally comfortable in expressing herself with that. But you got to see her when she talks with people and she counsels people. I mean, recently we had the passing of a very, very dear friend of ours down in Monroe County, and she was there for, the wife, the present widow, and she, just by being the natural, normal, loving human being that she was, provided such comfort in a state, of time like that. So I'm hoping and coaxing her that, God be willing, I want her to do her own classes. She's got a tremendous amount to offer. And especially here, we're going to be talking about male and female type of things, which is why I'm actually not digressing to chat about her. But soon we'll get her on camera here and hopefully have her give classes for those who want to take. I've told her to teach classes in French. French. Don't talk about my French. My French is what, 3 words. I won't tell you what those words are. Because if those of you who know French, you know the words that I've learned. My wife knows exactly what I'm talking about. All right, I'm going to share with you, just to give you a little bit of culture. All right, a little digression here about the natural balance of male and female, which is normal and good in every relationship. Every now and then I still give my private classes. And just this morning I was giving a private class to a very, very dear friend of mine who is a healer in Paris. And I was wearing a good old traditional, checkered American shirt. And you got to remember, Elisheva is very elegant. She's from Paris, and Paris, my friends in Paris, they're very elegant. The food there, I won't even compare the food in France to the food in America. We don't eat food here compared to what they eat there. They're eating food, we're eating garbage. And in spite of the fact that I'm the most guilty party of that, in all due respect, that's this way. Well, my friends, our students, our family out there, very, very sophisticated. So I'm wearing this nice checkered shirt. And I'll share with you one of the words that I learned along the way. She's laughing. She knows what I'm about to say. She said, "Oh, paysan." For those of you who know French, I'm sure you're laughing along with her right now. And I was wearing the shirt this morning that I was sharing with my doctor friend in Paris. So I said to him, you know, tell me what you think of the shirt. And of course, this is a video class. And you see his eyes roll in his head. And I said, it's very American. And I said, yeah, the Rabbanit says it's very paysan. And he laughs. He goes, oui. So you see, you have to learn sophistication. I mean, one of the things that I did when I went to France, I shared with my host. I said, please, you have to show me how to dress, you know, French. You know, there's an old saying that I'm sure you've all heard of: when in Rome, you do as the Romans do. Actually, it's a Gemara statement. There's actually some truth in that. When I'm in America, I dress American. I'm in Europe, you gotta show kavod. You gotta show respect. You gotta fit in. That's the Torah way of doing things. Oh, yes, okay. The Rabbanit is here, off on the side, saying, I like American style. She's more American than half of the Americans I know you should know. But anyway, I'm corrupting her. I really, really am. When we've come down here to Tennessee, I've introduced her to good old-fashioned American camouflage style. So she goes, you know, and, you know, we're going out into, you know, the park and out to the lake, and we're going hiking, going to Bald River Falls and stuff. And she's in the good old-fashioned American camo and stuff like that. And I said, you have to take pictures of this for your mother in Paris, all right? And I don't speak French, and my mother-in-law, God bless her, doesn't speak English. I can just imagine what she is thinking, what I'm doing to her poor darling daughter by introducing her to all these American cultures and traditions. Hey, viva la Americae! What can I say? We're American and proud of it. And I know many of you listening around the world are rolling your eyes. Some of you probably laughing. Baruch Hashem. All right? So just some little notes of fervor. I can't even say the word frivolity. Is that what it is? Right? Tzadok, as we say it in Hebrew. But anyway, let's get down to business. In discussing the Tikunei Zohar, in tonight's shiur, we're going to introduce the concept of Zachar v'Nekeva, male and female. And the Tikunim is going to take a very curious twist, if you will, to the story of the Garden of Eden and Adam and Eve. We're all familiar with the story of Adam and Eve. We're all familiar with the story how God created them, and Eve took of the fruit of the tree of knowledge and all the rest of this stuff. Well, needless to say, even from biblical times, the story was never, ever meant to be understood and taken literally. There are so many people today, Jewish and non-Jewish, who will stomp their fists saying the Bible and every word in it is absolutely literal. In spite of the fact that the Bible itself kind of really says that it's not. But where does it say that? Oh, you know what? We'll get into all of those, you know, discussions at another time. But you go back to the earliest recorded biblical commentaries that we have. I'm talking pre-rabbinic. Go to like Philo. It's available in English today. The whole concepts of the Midrashic interpretations have always been there. For those of you who have a Christian background, you will never be able to understand the original and authentic teachings of Yeshu's school, the gospel specifically, unless you have an understanding of Judaic Midrashic biblical interpretation, because nothing else makes sense when it comes to understanding the foundations, the Jewish writers of the Christian traditions. So again, we're dealing with the Tikunim. They are interpreting things in an old-fashioned classical way that has always been done in our Judaic traditions, dating back probably at least from, if not before, the Babylonian exile. We read many things in the Bible which are clearly, definitively never meant to be taken literally. Now, of course, that confuses people, because if some things are not literal, then what makes everything not to be taken literal? Thou shalt not kill. Maybe that's just symbolism. No, that's kind of literal. Halacha, yeah, that we take literally. But even that has meaning and purpose behind it. These are the things, the meaning of the mitzvot, for example, is discussed by Rambam in the Guide to the Perplexed Moreh Nebuchim in the third section towards the end there. And again, in my opinion, the Moreh Nebuchim, the Guide to the Perplexed, is probably the best mystical book in all of Judaic literature. In my opinion, far better than anything Zoharic. But not everybody can dabble in the Moreh Nebuchim. I've taught classes on it. I have classes available on it. They are, right now, the topic of prophecy, I have as a special offer discounted for this month of Elul. Read my emails, go onto my Patreon page, scroll down to my Facebook page. You'll see all of those offers are there for you who are so inclined and interested to learn. But anyway, moving right along, we were going to learn the text, and then towards the end, I will take any questions that you had. Luckily, you guys let me off easy last time. I didn't have any questions. So hopefully this time maybe you'll let me off as well. But just in case we got some good stumpers, well, we'll do the best we can. But okay, biblical metaphors. The whole story of the Garden of Eden. What's it all about? Before we get into the text, I'll give you the background of it. As we know, that means you and I, we are the living proof of extraterrestrial intervention. Now, don't go jumping to conclusions to say, the rabbi just said that those little gray aliens mixed up DNA in a test tube and created humans. I'm not saying kind of nonsense like that. Where are you coming off thinking like that? But the Bible does say very clearly, right, when it says, let us make man in our own image, go read the commentaries. Us includes, God consulted, it says, with the angels. Well, what does that mean? Well, last time I looked, angels are not indigenous of this earth, right? I mean, I think we've been around the world pretty much. Yeah, I've heard of angels in Anaheim, California playing baseball, but I don't think those are the angels who God had in mind when we talk about the angels in the Bible. So, we got angels, and they're not of this earth. They're not terrestrial. They are extraterrestrial. Ta-da! There's your term. All right, my whole book, Aliens, Angels, and Demons, discusses all that in detail, so no more about that. We are not necessarily extraterrestrial creations, but we are extraterrestrial entities ourselves. Physically, the physical body, the DNA, the Homo sapiens sapien body in which we exist is clearly and definitively indigenous to this earth. That we know, right? From the dust we come, to the dust we go back. Everybody always asks the question about the afterlife. Where do we go when we die? Oh, you get all the religious answers. You go to heaven, you go to hell, or you go to Gehinnom, purgatory, reincarnation. No one ever bothers to ask the interesting question. Where are we before we are born? Okay? If you leave out reincarnation, where else is there? You're not in heaven, you're not in hell, you're not in purgatory, you're not in Gehinnom. Where are you? No one bothers to ask that. You see, this is something very important. We discussed some of this in our last class. You see, that which we call our human souls, in Hebrew, neshama. Our neshamot are not indigenous to this earth. They did not evolve on this planet. The nefesh, which is the life force energy, call it the chi, the prana, the orgone. You went in that last class. That's indigenous to earth. Our physical form is a natural byproduct of this planet. We cannot live off-world unless we bring part of the world with us. Think about it. How long can our Homo sapiens sapien body survive without air, right? And what air? We can't breathe methane. We got to breathe our nitrogen, oxygen atmosphere. Well, last time I looked, if I wanted to go and have lunch on Mars or Venus, they don't have many restaurants that I know that have nitrogen, oxygen, atmosphere bars. So what am I going to do? It leaves me out of all the kosher restaurants on Mars and Venus. Very frustrating. Obviously, I'm being facetious. Anything. We can't live on the bottom of the ocean unless we bring our environment with us. We're not even indigenous to all of our planet. We're indigenous only to a specific, small, little section. That's the Homo sapiens sapien body. But that which is our true identity, which is called our neshama, that's not indigenous of this earth. It comes from off-world and it goes back off-world. That's our true selves. Now, just to digress for a quick second before we go into our text. As you know, it's a tenet of the Judaic faith to believe in what's called the resurrection of the dead. One of our 13 principles. Big quagmire of discussion because what does that really mean? We die, go off to heaven. I'm living in heaven for however many 100,000 years or whatever. Mashiach comes, the Messianic era ends, and then God's going to kick me out of heaven to put me back into a Homo sapiens sapien body back on earth. What the heck is that all about? I had a nice place in heaven, right? I worked hard. I got this great big mansion in heaven. My neighbor on the right is Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai. My neighbor on the left is Eliyahu Hanavi. We get together every Sunday for barbecues. Not on Shabbat because it's still up in heaven. Obviously, again, I'm joking with you, but what do we need to come down here for? Very important point. You see, when we do come down here, we do not come down here in the form that we left behind. On the contrary, we take a different form. You know something? I'm thinking, are we still going? Yep. My screen just went blank on me. So I hope it didn't go blank on you. Let me see. If everybody can still see me, can you scroll down here? Everybody can see all right? Yes, no, maybe so? I'm not getting any responses. Gee, thanks, guys. But all right, I'm just going to go on because it says here that I'm going on. And I know if I click anything, something's going to go wrong. So whatever. Let's just move on. Our souls, not indigenous to this earth. Our souls. Oh, now everybody's starting to write something. Yup. Yes. That's all I hear. Yep. Yes. What? Anyway, whatever. My screen just went blank. You know what? I don't need to see myself. I know what I look like. So as long as you can see me and as long as you can hear me, and I guess from all the comments, I guess you can still see me because I think still I'm going live here. All right. Yeah. You still see me? Okay, good. You can see me. That's all. I don't need to see myself. I know what I look like. And who knows? Maybe the magic will come back. See, we said I'm in the kitchen, so I'm actually on the Wi-Fi instead of the hard wire. So who knows what's going on? But anyway, neshama souls, that which, who, and what we really are. Why on earth do you need to come back here in a resurrection? Well, that's why you will always find a reference to what's called the resurrection body. You see, yeah, we come back down here because there's a reason for us being here in the first place. And our job is not to just come down here, learn a lesson, hightail it out of here, and just go and sit and park in heaven. No, our job is to bring heaven down to earth for the sake of a comprehensive integration. So our place is, believe it or not, on earth, but not an earth disconnected, but an earth reconnected. So by being in proper bodies, we therefore anchor, merge, and unite all the worlds. That is the ultimate goal of things. That is the real meaning of resurrection and why we consider it an ultimate part of our faith. So our goal, many other religions look at the world as being sinful and evil. Really sucks to be human. It's really bad to be here. It's all about suffering. I mean, look at the original teachings of the Buddha, right? Which is actually pretty cool philosophy. Very, very Noahide if you look at it. And the original Theravada teachings. And you'll see that, you know, he just hated this world and wanted to get the heck out of here. Well, yeah, there's a lot of problems in the world, but it's not our goal to get out of here. It's our goal to fix things. That is the underlying teaching of what the Tikkunim are here to say now. So on that note, I'm going to read I've seen that there is an online version of the Tikunei Zohar. It's Sefaria, Sefaria, Sefaria.com, I think, or maybe .org, I don't even know. If you look it up, Tikunei Zohar, Tikkun 67, it will show you page 99A and B. So you can go look that up. But anyway, again, I cheat. The Rabbanit told me not to cheat and to read the Aramaic, but I said, I've been reading in the Hebrew for 30 years, so that's what I do. Adam shelamala lo haya shalem b'li nekeva. Man above was not complete without a female. Now remember, the word in Hebrew, Adam, always means male and female. Every single woman out there is as much Adam as is any male of the species. So even though the technical terms in Hebrew may be different in Pirkei Avot, the concept is the same when we say, in a place where there are no men, strive to be a man. And I've taught that is a lesson equally for females as much as for males. And in our society today, it is what it is. Fortunate or unfortunate, I guess, is a moral decision that more females today are men than are the males. I saw, what do they call it? A meme? When you have a picture on the internet? I saw one that really touched me deeply. They showed an 18-year-old young man in 1945 saying, this young man is about to storm the beaches of Normandy and fight almost to the death for his country. They show a picture of a young 18-year-old in uniform with his gun. And they show a modern young kid. This young 18-year-old needs to have a secluded room in his university, a safe room, so he is immune from having to hear words which offend his emotions. What a contrast of difference between strength and weakness. When we talk about being a man, Adam, we are referring specifically to being that pillar of strength. Doesn't matter male or female, young or old. It's a character issue. It's a matter of how one stands with regards to one's responsibility, control, and discipline. Just to let you know, the Rabbanit is in training. She's learning a lot of psychological stuff, and we deal with a lot of these issues with a lot of people who come to our school who, have issues. And I always tell them that, frankly, I don't care what your beliefs are, what you think. Frankly, I don't care what your emotions are and what you feel. I only care about your actions, your behavior, and what you do. We have concepts and ideas which are Torah-based, wherein which we state, your freedoms extend as far out as to where it touches the border of the other individual's freedoms. And you don't violate those boundaries. Everybody has to respect the boundaries of each other. So even like with men and women, we talk about, for example, having private places and spaces, even within one's own home. I've always encouraged husbands and wives, if possible, have separate bathrooms. I really think that's very, very good for peace at home, shalom bayit. And everyone needs their own space. And I give the biblical example of Abraham and Sarah each having their own tent. Now, this is the practical application of men and women interacting in our world today. But understand the greater context of this within this here, which the Tikunei Zohar brings down, because we are now going to redefine male and female beyond the human context of what we understand sexually as men and women. And I want to be very clear here. All right, just to give you a little preamble. We're obviously going to say that the neshama soul is called the male and the physical form is called the female. That's where we're going with this. And we say how the neshama soul must be completely dominant and controlling the physical body. And being that we apply the terms male and female in this symbolic context, too many people twist and turn the symbolism in a social way which is fundamentally perverted and wrong, and think that the male of the species must dominate the female of the species, and women are supposed to be subservient and submissive to men. No, no, no. That violates everything that our Torah teaches. Want an example? Go read Proverbs chapter 31, the famous woman of valor, Eshet Hayil. Look at the examples of all of the famous matriarchs in the Bible. In my book, in which I deal with male and female archetypes and things like that, go online, check that out, all the sources there. So my point is that when we're discussing metaphors, let's recognize that a metaphor is being applied within a specific context only and is not meant to be applied generally across the board. So if I say, for example, I give an example, that example is only meant within the context of what I'm talking about, not anywhere else. So male and female. Adam above, man above, the neshama soul, was not complete without the female, the physical body. How can a neshama soul not be complete without the physical body? Did you ever stop to ask why we come down to earth in the first place? Didn't we just discuss this moments ago? We're here to merge two universes, two-dimensional planes, by bringing them together. That's the union of heaven and earth. That's what we talk about Yichud in the Kabbalah speak all the time. Why the proclamation is Hashem Elokeinu, Hashem Echad, the Shema Yisrael prayer, God is one. Right? It's the merging of the universes, the merging of worlds. Yes, the desire from below reaches above, but it's the higher world above which has to be properly anchored to the world below. So the world above goes down, tries to connect, which means a part of it's in the world below. That's our bodies. Must be combined in proper balance. That's the symbolic application of what we're talking about. Let's go on. And he quotes here the pasuk, Zachar v'nekeva bara'am, right? Male and female created them. V'kra et shamam Adam. And he called their names Adam. Adam Zachar ve'Adam nekeva. Adam, male, Adam, female, just like we've been talking about. V'kasher nivra Adam shelamata shehu nekeva. When we create man below, he is the female, just like we've been talking about. Zehu shekatuv, this is what it says, V'yivra Elohim et Adam b'tzalmo, that God creates man in his image. Nishlam diyukan shelamala. And this then completes the image of that which is above. Merging of the universes, merging of the dimensional planes, physical, spiritual, neshama with nefesh, body and soul. It is the relationship in symbolic terminology within this application only of male and female. Meaning, just like we're supposed to have the intimate and arousing and even sexual bond as we do, the erotic bond between husband and wife, so it has that same bond that we have with the spiritual and physical worlds. Some people will say, yes, well, I'm supposed to have that erotic spiritual bond with the higher worlds. Okay, that's cool. A lot of people will sexualize their spiritual experiences. That can be good. Doesn't have to be bad. Doesn't have to be bad. Can be good. Whatever. But you got to understand it the other way around. In the words of the Gemara, More than the baby cow wants to suckle from the mummy wants to give milk. The higher world wants to bond with the lower world. That is why we have such aspirations within ourselves. This is why our neshama souls within us literally drive us crazy, seeking things in life that we don't even know what we're seeking. If the mind is clouded, we cannot see clearly. And using the old words of an old Moody Blues song, we're like the knights in white satin, never reaching the end, because we're always searching for something and we don't know what it is. See, that's the passion and the power. It's from above to below, more than it is from below to above. But both have to be there equally in order for the image to be made complete. V'zehu sod ki Elohim tir Hashem Elokim. All right, and he says this is the secret of where it says in the Garden of Eden that God has not yet brought rain or moisture upon the land. In other words, when you have moisture, you have growth, etc., and so on. So prior to there being, if you will, the first dew or the first rain, things weren't growing. Well, symbolically speaking, again, that is where we are kind of like as a race today. Our job is to grow. And we need, if you will, the rain, the matar, which is kind of like the dew. Oh, and you go into the Petach Eliyahu, we have our classes on that, the prayer of the prophet Elijah from the beginning of the Tikunei Zohar, speaks about the dew, symbolic of the letters Yud, Hey, and the Vav of God spelled out according to Gematria 39, which makes it the Gematria of Talim. So, okay. But that just means the higher worlds, which merge into the lower worlds. And again, higher worlds, call it, if you will, the spiritual, the intellectual, and the emotional, which therefore have to be properly balanced one with one another. And then they properly materialize in the physical form of the body. Now, again, just to digress for a moment to a point, an important point. Judaism as a religion is all about what we do, the way. The Torah is the Jewish Tao, the natural way that we walk. Our sages developed what we call halakha, which is the way to go, specifically with the intent of keeping together a nation, and they clearly over 2,000 years succeeding. But when we get into what's called the ta'ameh mitzvot, the reasons underlying the commandments, or what halakha really means, we recognize that each and every one is an image of an archetype, a universal law personified in a symbolic form of a ritual act. And when we understand what these things are, then indeed we truly understand what Torah is all about. And it transcends being a parochial, national thing to being a universal truth through which, or by which the entire universe, the entire world can learn great truths. So, moving right along. Madua, why was there not yet any dew, or as we say? Because there was not yet a man. You see, when we talk about bringing down the rain or doing the work, it was the Adam, the Adamic race comes down here, fixing up the old civilizations that were all messed up, bringing balance and harmony by connecting the spiritual, the intellectual, and emotional and proper balance into the proper actions. The reason why, let's be blunt, Atlantis fell after a long, long period of global dominance, maybe even galactic, was because their society, the foundations were still not in proper balance and harmony. And they ran their course till ultimately they brought about an energy imbalance, which led to world collapse. Those were the kings who reigned in the land of Edom prior to there being a king in Israel. And that spirit, if you will, is still with us to this day. So everything that we talk about in the period leading up to Rosh Hashanah, and everything we talk about Teshuvah, we discussed some of this last class, is all about getting things in alignment. So this brings us down to the practical, realistic thing of proper actions, proper balance of emotions, clarity of thought, to psychic extra extrasensory perceptive development, expansion of consciousness, and the like. That is how we merge universes and channel the flow. Moving right along. This is necessary. Haya Adam livro, because man is necessary here. To complete the image above. And with the female, with this man, everything is one. And he says, this is the meaning of the pasuk, and he quotes here Isaiah chapter 51, verse 2, where he speaks about Abraham and Sarah, and how God calls them both to being one. You see, that's the reason why we actually have men and women here, is to show us the uniqueness of balance and harmony. Because every female woman is internally a male, and every male is internally a female. This is the anima and animus discussed in Jungian psychology, but it's very, very true. So when a woman has an identity, she's all female, all of a sudden she'll find a male trait within her. And same thing with the male in reverse. What are those male and female traits? Again, go to my ebook on the topic where I'll align this Sefirot and the personalities and stuff. But again, the point is we have to recognize that the relationship and the reason why we have sexes, if you will, why we have sexual procreation. It doesn't have to be like that, right? You don't have to be eukaryotic. It could have been, I forgot the other biological name of the single cells that just, like clone each other. But anyway, my point is, we're here for a reason. The way we are is for a reason. We need to learn from it. So we contemplate our reality beyond the superficial into the essence. And we recognize the value. So if we say that the female is so important, and without it, doesn't complete the image above. Well, apply that to men and women. Let's say we had a world where everyone was all male, no more women. Well, I think after a generation, we'd all be dead because you need females for reproduction. And we had no more males, but only females. I don't think that would be much better either. So you see, the relationship here, physically, is a reflection of that higher relationship. And that's how we have to start looking at things. That's what we call expanding consciousness. This, he says, is the secret of the neshama. That's what we've been talking about. And then later it says, Lo tov hayot adam levado, aaseh lo ezer kenegdo. Then in the second creation story, again, remember, we're only talking symbolisms here, so don't worry if things don't match up with every detail. It's not important that they do. We're just picking and choosing our examples, using them symbolically to make our point. It's not good for man to be alone. I will make a ezer kenegdo, a helpmate against him. Remember the famous Pshat commentary? A wife is a help for a man when he deserves it, and she confronts him, opposite him, when he needs that too. And I will say I'm definitely blessed in that respect. Our Rabbanit is very, very able to show me things that many times I'm not able to see. It's not that I disagree, it's just I don't see. And she makes me see things I've never seen before. And I go, wow. Remember, Rabbanit is much younger than I am. And she has such profound wisdom that impresses me. Good reason why we found each other. How's that? Moving right along. Okay, Ezer Kenegdo. What is the helpmate against him? This is the physical body. Shehu Ebed Shivcha Kalul Metovera. The physical body here is called the male and female slave, which combines good and evil. Now remember, I warned you, please do not apply terms like slave to a human female. Please remember that's not the way a metaphor is meant to be perverted. We're speaking and using metaphors within a specific context. Don't get cocky and mess with the words, please. The physical body is supposed to be a complete subservient vessel to the higher dimensional planes. Every spiritual practice on earth is geared towards developing inner peace. Physical bodies, we all have physical desires. Sometimes we want to go out and have sex, drugs, and rock and roll. And we all know that the ultimate results of uncontrolled physical desires will eventually kill you. There's nothing that we can do that in excess is not bad. For example, we all need to eat. What happens when we overeat and get obese? We get sick and we die. If one is going to have an occasional alcoholic beverage, nothing wrong with that. But what happens when someone abuses alcohol? They destroy their bodies. Sexual intercourse obviously is necessary for procreation. What happens when we abuse that? Sexually transmitted diseases, psychological and psychiatric problems, and the like. Everything is meant to be in balance and harmony. The physical body is meant to be a vessel. It is not meant to be dominant, but submissive. That is why in every spiritual practice, I know this from Shaolin tradition, Wudang traditions, Sufi traditions, and even many of the yogi traditions, it is all about control and discipline. This is very, very important. Don't think that this is a religious message. One of the inspirational characters that the Rabbanit follows is Jocko Willink. He's getting in the news these days. He's an ex-Navy SEAL, and he runs a program teaching people about proper character and discipline and duty. On the Facebook page, he's always getting up at like 4:30 a.m. in the morning, and every morning he shows a picture of his watch. I'm up with her. Cool. I mean, sometimes I'm up at 4:30, sometimes I'm not. But the point is discipline and control. And for those of you who listen to me here at KosherTorah, I'm a big stickler on that. I talk about going to the gym and working out. I'm talking about proper eating so as to maintaining health. This is what it's all about. Not for looking good, but for being good. There's a big difference between the two. If we're going to the gym and we're going to bench press 200, 250 pounds, well, it's not so you can have a nice big chest to show off the muscles. No. It's to be healthy. It's to be strong. It's to be proper. It's to have the discipline and the balance that says you can do it. For example, when I'm on certain machines at the gym, right? You're supposed to do your regular sets, 1, 2, etc. I'll take it and I'll hold the weights in a very long spin. I'll close my eyes and I'll meditate, holding the weights. My arms are getting tired. I'll say, no, they're not. I control. And I'll hold them for extra amount of time, however long it takes, and then I'll let them go. It's a very different, I learned that actually from Shaolin tradition. It's not something I learned at Venice Beach and, Gold's Gym there, but it works because the point is not to build big muscle, but to build the big stamina, to build the big discipline. That is what it's all about. And that is why the easiest way to learn this is by doing it physically, because we're physically minded people. We understand physicality. So by doing something physically, we get the message. And then we take that same message and we apply it to the control of our emotions. No, we are not emotionless. We're not sociopaths. We all feel. But we discipline and control how we express our emotions. I tell people all the time, I don't care if you get angry, but I do care very much how you express your anger. With regards to thinking and your thoughts, I don't care what your theological beliefs are. If you want to pray to Jesus Christ, or if you want to be a Shia, Sufi Muslim, or if you believe in the Buddha, or any one of the pantheons in Hinduism, because I just the Ashkenazim say, good for you, I don't care. What difference does it make? Because I know inside, if your focus is on what's right, then all the rest of the external forms don't matter. Well, that's actually a biblical quote from the book of Malachi. Go look it up, Malachi 1. But anyway, moving right along. The physical always has what we call good and evil. Now, let's take the topic of good and evil outside of religion. What exactly is good? What exactly is evil? Now, we've discussed this before. Understand that there's a natural order to the universe. And when everything is in proper balance and harmony and expanding life and expanding balance, that's good. But anytime that the natural order is perverted, anytime where things get messed up, anytime when the proper balance is out of whack, that's bad. That's called evil. I don't know if it really has anything to do with morality as we understand it, but it's morality at the universal level, wherein which we recognize that the whole definitions of good and evil are not what's written in a book by this or that religious leader, but by the order of nature itself created by God. So when someone asks me as the rabbi, is this or that behavior good or evil? I respond and say, well, how natural is it? Where do we find it in nature? Where do we find it in the universe? That's the definition. I don't go looking to point fingers at people and say, you're bad, you're good, you're this, you're that. No, that's so immature. We seek people, or we seek for people to find balance. Balance between male and female, which is a symbolism of balance between neshama and guf, soul and body. Balance between heaven and earth. Call it, from the Oriental traditions, the balance of yin and yang. It's the same thing. Moving right along. Biglala amar, because he says evil, good and evil. And so what do we need? We say that the reason why this exists is so that it can be reward and punishment. Zachar va'onesh. Biglala amar, ra'e natati lefanecha hayom et ha'chaim et ha'mavet et ha'mavet ve'et hara. Behold, it's a quote from the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 30. I place before you today life and good and death and bad. So from our context, death, not death meaning just the separation of the body, which is the continuation of the process of life. That's not really death, though we think of it. Death means the cessation or the ending, the perversion, the inversion, things going the wrong way. That's bad. That's what we're talking about here. Now, why are we here? What's it all about? We say zachar va'onesh, which means reward and punishment. If you're good, God is going to reward you. And if you're bad, God is going to punish you. You are going to get a stocking full of coal for being bad. But if you're good, you'll get your presents. I'm obviously facetiously joking on the Santa Claus myth, because that's how many people come and look at God and religion. It's really kind of immature. We come to this dimensional plane, and we have a job to do. Who are we? Who are you? Who am I? Well, obviously, we're all part of the greater whole. But the greater whole, is not communistic. Even though we are all one, in the context of our unity, there is unique differences. For example, I have a physical body. At least I think I do. And in my physical body, I got a brain. At least I think I do. I have a heart. I think I do. I have a head. I have a rear end. That I know I do. All right? I have all these different parts in me. Each one is functioning, performing a different function. Well, the universal scheme of things, the entire race of sentient beings, symbolically speaking, we learned this in Kitvari, is one or another part of the body. Some souls, if you will, belong to the head. Some souls belong to the feet. Some souls belong to the hands. Where do I fit into things? The answer is, where do you want to fit into things? That's not what you were expecting, is it? You think, well, I am predestined. I was born a soul related to the hand or the heart or the leg or the head. Yeah, that's what I am. I'm an eye soul. I'm an ear soul. Are you really? You might think you are in this lifetime. Maybe the next you'll be something different. Souls, the neshama, come to these bodies and are given, therefore, the opportunity to evolve, to grow, to mature. So even if you are, for example, a foot soul, if you want to be a head soul, go for it. Evolve and grow. That's called reward. But if you're a head soul by nature and you invert and go the opposite way, you fall. Right? That's called punishment. So Torah teaches us, choose life and growth, not death and decay. That's really what it boils down to. I mean, it's a simple lesson. And we have to turn to this deep book of mystical Kabbalah to learn what? The most simple of human truths. That's really what they're all about anyway. Moving on. And we're told, choose life. If we didn't have this opportunity, we would never have the opportunity to grow. And then what is a soul? If we're robots, automatons, and we have no opportunity to evolve and grow, that's what makes us different from what are called the malachim, the other races. They are who they are what they are. They can never evolve, they can never grow. This is why our sages refer to them as saying they have no free will. Oh yeah, they make choices and they do a whole bunch of stuff, but they can't evolve as we do. Why is that the case? I don't know. That's what we're told. But we can, and we do evolve. So that is why we have what we do. But those who choose, or I should say those who cannot choose, he says here, you're like an animal, right? In all due respect, I have my dear dog Texie out there. Texie's beautiful. I love him. I call him my canine son. I'm certain there's some kind of incarnate soul in him. But at the same time, there's only so much that I can expect from Tex to do. He's going to listen to me when I tell him, sit here, do this, go for a walk, eat, whatever, right? But I can't really bring Tex with me, for example, to a Torah class and have him sit here learning Torah and I expect him, to say Amen and Kaddish after class. That's just not where his dog consciousness is at right now. And he doesn't have that opportunity to evolve beyond dog consciousness, all the while that he's in the body of a dog. Maybe in his next life, we do believe in reincarnation, maybe he will evolve into a higher form, which will give him higher potential and opportunity. I certainly hope so. Then he will evolve and grow. And so it is with us. We evolve and grow as we incarnate from one form to the next. Maybe our next forms will not be Homo sapiens sapien on this planet, but some higher form, maybe a higher form on our planet, maybe in our Earth, or maybe in another dimension or another world. Who knows? All of it is possible. God shows us everything that can happen. God shows us what happens if we turn towards chesed and we can acquire merit. And what happens when we turn in the opposite direction? If God just wanted us dead, just saying, okay, you have no potential to evolve, you just what you are, why would we be given choice? Everything now is in our hands. We have what's potential. So when we balance things, the proper balance between what we call male and female, the proper balance of body and soul, and we align things properly, voila, nature is served. The universe is harmonized. You don't need your religion. You don't need anything other than the proper halakha, balance and harmony. That's what it's all about. That is the great lesson that we have here for today. All right, I've gone a little over in the amount of time I wanted to focus on, but now I'm going to look at your questions in text. Anybody's got any questions? I see all your comments, but anybody's got questions, now's the time to ask. All right, I'm looking at all your comments as I'm reading them here. Everybody's got comments. I'll read the comments later. Everything in moderation, absolutely, Habibi. Somebody says he's just on his way to the gym. Go for it. All right, balance. Nothing, no comments, no questions. All right, yeah, I know. 4 minutes to go. Yeah, okay. So Rabbi needs to say, wait for people's questions. I don't wait. She'll yell at me for this later. But anyway, okay. If there are no questions at this time, then cool and groovy. We got what we needed to say. We will, Ezrat Hashem, pick up on this. We're going to continue. We're going to do Wednesday night and Sunday night classes. I do have some traveling coming up shortly. I'll be doing, I have to go to Miami for a wedding in a couple of weeks. And after that, right between Rosh Hashanah and Kippur, we're going to Dallas, Texas. Alien Con Dallas coming up. So we're going to have a fun time down there. For those of you down Texas way, I'd love to see you. Make it down in Dallas. That we can go look at Alien Con Dallas online. We'll give you all the details about that. So that is our travel. But hey, have computer, we'll travel. So we should hopefully be able to keep everything up and going, getting these classes going. Those of you who are our monthly supporters, of course, you're the backbone of our school. Without your support, we can't be here to pay our bills. So thank you for you. We will have our private classes starting soon. I'm going to be doing Otzrot. I'm going to be doing a Mysteries in Genesis class. I'm going to be doing a meditation class. And this time, I'm not going to be doing it from a text. This time, I'm going to place focus on what we call in Hebrew, uvta, how to do things. I'm going to give you practical techniques. People have always wanted me to do guided meditations. Fine. I will guide meditations. We'll do this. These are only for our private students, our monthly supporters. So for those of you who are our monthly supporters, this is what you got forward. This is what's coming on. And of course, we're doing the Otzrot series again and some other stuff, which I will be throwing in as we go. So that's that. So again, I want to thank you all for being with me tonight. I got one question here. Okay. How close can the Noahide get in connecting with Hashem before he hits a ceiling? He doesn't hit a ceiling, Maximo. There is no such ceiling. It is a very clear teaching. I quote this all the time from Tana de Eliyahu, Yarabah, chapter 9, whether it be a Jew or a Gentile, man or a woman, free or a slave, everyone can receive Ruach HaKodesh, which means prophecy, spiritual psychic development at the equal same level, all depending on what one does. Even in his commentary to Maimonides, Rabbi Aaron Soloveitchik clearly states that if we have Ben Noach, who is a Nabi, a prophet, as measured by, of course, halachic standards, it is obligatory even on Jews to follow the words of that prophet, even though the prophet is not Jewish. Pretty powerful statement for the rabbi to make, but it's true. So no ceilings. Anybody who says otherwise, well, whatever. We don't hold by this myth of there being a Jewish soul as being something superior to anything else. But okay, on that note, Be'ezat Hashem, let's conclude for tonight. Thank you again all for joining me. I'm your host, Ariel Bar Tzadok, Kosher Torah School. You know where to find this, KosherTorah.com. God be willing, we'll be seeing you in our future classes. Thank you again all for your support, keeping our school and our yeshiva alive, and looking forward to seeing you online and in class. Take a look at those opportunities. The prophecy series that I have, the Quest of Universal Torah, all about what we've been talking about here from the writings of Rabbi Eliyahu ben Amozed. Courses are all available. Those of you who want Kabbalah and all the stuff of the soul that we've been talking about, even my Etz Chaim class, right now available through the month of Elul, half price. Go check it out online. We'll see you all soon. God bless. Good night. Shalom.